So we are going to get started. For those of you who I haven't met, I'm Linda Reinstein. I am the president and co-founder of the Asbestos Disease Awareness Organization, ADAO, and I am so delighted to be hosting the second ADAO Zoom event. We have found, Ellen and I and others with ADAO, that it has been monumentally important for us to continue to connect and share. Many of you would have been hugging, kissing the normal way before COVID-19 at our conference, and we would be toasting and cheering and talking about all those great presentations. However, we were thrown a curveball, and that's what ADAO knows how to do best, is we have to pivot and work on finding our new normal. We don't always accept it as what we want, but we have to be able to move to that direction. So that's why we're doing these chats. Art, advocacy, and academia has really been important to me and to Doug when we first started ADAO. That is how we're able to talk about facts and stats and the policy in a different language that the average person can really understand. And when you see Conor and Zack's film, you're going to understand probably more of what I mean by that. I want to thank our sponsors, because without generous donations, we can't do our work. And I see beautiful Amy up at the top. I see Perry's pad, and I'm not sure if I see Sarah, but Sarah, are you online? Wave your hand. There's someone that looks like Sarah, it's not. So I want to thank our sponsors. The platinum sponsor we have is Simmons Hanley Conroy, and they do a phenomenal job. You have to know that we do not make any medical or legal referrals, and our sponsors give generously and just support our work. They get nothing in return as far as cases. And I see beautiful Erin there as well. Motley Rice is our gold sponsor. And Erin, if you want to throw your hand up and do a wave. Again, Motley Rice has been a sponsor for a long time, and they also just give to us out of the goodness of their heart because they know the work we do. We're going to get started with an intro, because I bet some of you haven't seen the film might be kind of curious, like, what are we going to do today? So I want to introduce you to two of my favorite guys. They are affectionately in my world called the Biker Boys, because when I was first told about their idea of bike riding across the nation, I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is all going to play out. But little did I know that these guys have everything that it takes to make this work. So Conor and Zack, let me unmute you, Zack. Make sure, can you talk, Zack? Do we hear you?
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Cool.
I am here.
Great. So Conor, why don't you spend a couple of seconds and introduce yourself, and then we're going to flip it to Zack. Tell me about yourself.
All right, I'm Conor Lewis. I'm the director of Dirty Laundry, along with my cousin Zack. We made the film started in 2016. I am an artist and professional creative. I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm married, and I have a daughter and another one on the way, another daughter actually, which is very exciting. I think that's about it. Zack, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm Zack Johnson. I'm just a creative guy. I'm somebody who loves adventure and loves doing some crazy things, and I try to make a difference in the world if I can. And yeah, that's me. Yeah, made Dirty Laundry with my cousin Conor there that you just met. And I gotta say, I'm so stoked. I clicked the grid view so I can actually the gallery view. So I can see everybody, and I'm so psyched. There's so many more people in here than I thought. So thank you all for tuning into this. This is awesome.
Yeah, and then we get to have Q&A and make it really dynamic and have a great exchange of information. So when I was first asked to help Conor and Zack in the sense of making some introductions, what did I think? Would it be doable? Could I help? I had never been approached for this type of film before. And I see Amy up there. I'm hoping, Amy, that you're able to hear today and that she hands go, okay, good. So when I was asked, I asked, like, have they ever made a film before? Have they ever done an athletic challenge like this before? I kept getting no. And I thought, okay. So we had a conversation over the phone, and then they came to my house, and I knew they had just what it would take to make the film. So before we screen the film, we're going to go through a little Q&A, because I think understanding the filmmakers and their purpose will give you better understanding when you watch their film. So Zack, tell me a little bit about, why did you make Dirty Laundry? And tell me a little bit about your grandma, Iva.
Yeah, well, our grandma, Iva, she passed away later in life. She was, of mesothelioma, and we really we made Dirty Laundry because we kind of saw this need that there weren't a lot of young people in the world that were aware of what was going on. We were in our early mid-20s or so whenever we found out how mess of a deal asbestos in America is, like how big of an issue this is, and we're like, why have we not known about this for forever? And then we, started to dig deeper, and we're just like, yeah, there's nothing out there that communicates what this is that we're fighting, and this danger that's so ever present in our worlds. And so we saw a need of some sort of something to communicate that, to everybody, but especially younger folks who are, just people who are in the home renovation deal, and like this is an ever-present problem, and it's not going away. And we knew that we could do something, hopefully, to put it on people's radar a little bit more.
And you did just that. So Conor, being a filmmaker, and I think this was your first film, so forgive me if I have that wrong, but tell me about filmmaking, because I've had over the last 16 years, so many people tell me, Linda, you should make a film, or Linda, I'm making a film, because people get that filmmaking is really the language that millennials speak, and it gets our information across in a way that the written word really can't. So tell us a little bit about your talents as a filmmaker. Were you new? What were you thinking? How'd you come up with the script?
So Zach and I both are lucky enough, as millennials, we were raised right on the cusp of actual film itself, the product starting to be less used, and the digital world enabling things like this. So we both came up in high school and college making a lot of media. We both studied that independently of each other. Ended up collaborating in work and started making videos. So we had both made videos before this. I worked at an ad agency. Zach had done work in college and high school, and I think continually. And so we both kind of brought that knowledge. And it turns out that the tools and stuff, it's very democratic now. We were able to go a long way on a small amount. And so basically, with our knowledge of understanding how to make 3 to 5 minute videos, we kind of took that and stretched it. So that was where the real challenge was, is that the length was the biggest challenge for us. But we broke it down piece by piece, and that's kind of how we approached it.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing setup there. So when you started out to actually go on this ride, you had to do a little bit of research, because how can you make a film about asbestos or mesothelioma without having a rich knowledge base? So how did you go about educating yourself, Zach? Because I know that must have been a daunting task.
Yeah, like I said briefly before, we didn't know anything really about mesothelioma until our grandmother got diagnosed, and there was still 4 or so years after her passing before we even started to really look into it, as much as I hate to say it. And so we did, and luckily there are good resources out in the world, like the ADAO, that has plenty of information on asbestos and asbestos related diseases worldwide, but especially here in America. So yeah, so 4 years after the passing, we kind of started looking into it, and we realized this is a messed up deal. We should try and see if we can do something about it. So we got in contact with the Linda at the ADAO, and just really started to sing what we could turn this into. We just kind of looked at everything on the table, and we're like, let's give it a shot. And we didn't get too far into our studies beforehand, because we wanted to develop that story of learning along the way. And so we let a lot of the people we interviewed teach us about what they know, and then their individual struggles.
So in our world of green screens, TikTok, and Photoshop, Conor, the hot light is on your face. Did you guys really ride your bikes from Oregon to New York?
We actually rode our bikes 4,200 miles from Oregon on the Pacific all the way to the Atlantic. That was real. I felt every mile of it. It was somehow much harder on me. I came in with a lot more cycling experience than Zach. somehow I had the harder ride. I don't know why, but that was absolutely real.
So that, how many flat tires for give me the grand total? How many flat tires?
So Zack, I believe, had under 5 the whole trip, and I consistently blew a tire about every other day. I think I easily racked up 20 to 30. I would imagine. I don't have the actual number because most of them were cursing on the side of the road, throwing my bike, which we do have a little bit of footage of. But yeah, it was quite a lot. It turns out I actually, my tires were a little bit overinflated and I had a ronky rear wheel that plagued me the whole time.
Yeah, I always say we would have made it across the country a whole lot faster if it wasn't for Conor getting flat tires. I actually had 2 across the entire country. And my last one was about a half a mile before we got to our hotel where we were staying in Libby, Montana. And that was the place where we were planning on staying for 4 days. So Libby, Montana, that's pretty far west, considering how many miles we had to go further south than east towards Manhattan. So I got lucky. And yeah, Conor really slowed us down. He's kind of a bummer out there. But yeah, we cursed a lot. We got through it. And man, yeah. But those flat tires, man, they'll get you.
So we're going to start the movie in a few minutes, but half of the people watching your film today are what we call asbestos victims. So when I testify in front of Congress, you usually get 5 minutes for a testimony. There's only one word that describes the collective us, which is someone who's been exposed, someone diagnosed, their family, and of course, when someone passes away, we want to remember all. So we describe asbestos victims not in a submissive way, but as a very strong, courageous way. So as asbestos victims, I want you guys to set up this movie for the viewers that you have today. What did you actually learn about your grandma's struggle, Conor, after making this film at the very end? What's your one soundbite takeaway about what did you learn from your grandma's struggle?
I think we took away, the big thing we learned is that we didn't understand it when we started because she was older when she died and we were younger. But the big takeaway after that was just how profound her passing actually was, in the sense that our grandfather devoted his whole life to something, being an actual pipe insulator, and lived and breathed something, and was very passionate. His wife was taken away because of that very painfully. It left us very sad and upset that not only that she had to go to pass that way, but that it just the unfairness of it. It wasn't necessarily about her age; it was the way it happened. That we didn't. I think we were naive. We didn't realize that companies and people would be so willing to hurt people like that.
Yeah, it is shocking. So Zack, the wonderful thing about the relationship that I think the three of us share, and it's a really sweet part, I know you share it with Ellen and Nikki and others, is the fact that we've become a family. So after your bike ride and you interviewed Mike and Jess, Matt Mueller and Julie G and so many others, what takeaway did you learn separate from Iva's struggle? You see that there's probably some common threads to asbestos victims. Is there anything you can sum up it before we start watching your film?
Just the most loving and caring and compassionate people you'll ever meet in your entire life. It's crazy how something like this can bring people together. And I know Conor and I have both, as filmmakers doing this, have felt kind of, as much as we can, feel like outsiders. You know, we feel like since we weren't really that connected with our grandmother's story initially, we felt relatively distant. Whereas the folks that we sat down and interviewed and talked with and bonded with and lived with for a short period of time, in some cases, like you just realize really quick that that's not how they see you. Your family immediately, and they bring you in and they wrap you up in their love, and man, they've got a lot of love to give because, you know, they've been through the worst. They've seen the worst. And so,
Definitely.
yeah, meso and asbestos has really put a damper on a lot of people's lives. But it's made us stronger. It really has. It's brought a lot of people together to do a lot of really good work. And man, yeah, just in the a lot of the folks that we interviewed, we spent like roughly 24 hours with them, and in that time we experienced the whole range of emotions you can, just incredible joy and gladness to deep sadness. But no, nobody's hanging their head. Everybody is positive and working forward constantly, and it's one of the most inspiring things to be a part of, is to just kind of step back and see that. And I'm glad we're able to be part of it.
Yeah, I think you brought a lot of elements of exposure, and when our viewers get to watch the movie, they can see what it was like, because we talk in Congress where we're working on our policy, for instance, the Alan Reinstein Ban Asbestos Now Act that's in the House and Senate. People think many times, wrongly so, that asbestos exposure only happens at the workplace. So Alan sadly was 63 when he was diagnosed, and they're looking back at his history in the 20s and 30s and 40s, and they think you had to be possibly a pipe fitter to be exposed. And I think the title of this movie, for those of you who haven't watched it, it's Dirty Laundry. And I'm not going to give this away with a spoiler alert kind of thing, but you're going to understand how exposure takes on different ways, whether or not it's occupational, non-occupational, take home, or possibly even a deadly hug, which I use in Congress. And I think that makes lawmakers sit up straight in their chair when children come home and hug a worker who might have not had proper decontamination or knowingly been exposed to asbestos. So the other part that I want you guys to watch, in the very beginning when I saw your film, Conor and Zack, I saw the clip about old lawyer commercials. I thought, uh-oh, where's this gonna go? And I actually really love the beginning. So I'm not giving anything away, but I want, when you guys watch this film, to think it is not about the 11 o'clock ad. A lot of times, the best discovery is what it's called, the best evidence, the best information that I get to use in a testimony or article actually comes from a law firm. When they talk to Johnson & Johnson about did they know, or possibly, I don't want to get myself into trouble, but anybody who manufactured or used asbestos or possibly made someone sick, if somebody seeks out civil justice, it's called discovery. And I'm not a lawyer, but many times there's evidence that's brought to the table during a trial. And I think that is a really important part, because I don't know how you guys felt, but for me, when Alan was sick, we would have never thought about civil litigation. It would be like, why? We would never take anybody to court. It would be not something we'd ever want to do. But I think, and I see Jill's head nodding, I think it's very important for asbestos victims to be empowered and know that any aspect of civil justice is the right, for me, feels like the right thing to do, not only for your family, but also for what information can we actually capture after the trial. I want you guys to know, and it's in my kitchen, I am devastated. Again, you guys probably know, many of you know my beautiful broken arm, etc. I just got subpoenaed again by Johnson & Johnson, and I have to hire a lawyer, waste my time, talk about my product testing and my work. And these companies have so much. So what they do is they're using their discovery against asbestos victims to figure out, well, what does ADAO really do? Is there something we can use in a trial? So I just want you to know, litigation is obviously has two sides to it, but I firmly believe that us as victims pursuing civil justice allows us to move prevention and policy forward. So that's my spiel. So when you see the opening, you'll go, oh, now I know why Linda said that. So why don't we use technology the best way we can? We're gonna come back after the film and talk about some specific parts of it, who you may have seen and why you have a question. You're probably going to be hopping mad because Ellen and I have gone with Zack and Conor, and then we screened it a couple times in St. Louis and then in Minneapolis. The biggest question we get at the end is, how can we help? We didn't know. So we're going to touch on some of that, and then we really want to answer your questions. So Conor and Zack, if you're ready to turn it over to screen sharing, let's run the movie.
Great. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Zack.
I was just going to say, well, Conor's getting it queued up and ready to go. once again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is an awesome thing that we can do to move forward with the problem of asbestos in America. So just tuning in is definitely making a difference. I don't know if everybody was on earlier whenever I made a huge fuss about Ellen and Ellen and Jill, but I'm sorry, but I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. And this is Dirty Laundry.
Okay, guys, I am going to stop my video.
Conor, 1 second. I'm getting a message from Courtney to everyone, and it just means that you should reduce the tiles so you can see the full view of the film. And Conor, if you want to better explain that in the viewing process, so you can have the full view. I don't know what, if people are watching on their phone, if you have the tiles of faces, it makes it a little tricky. Okay.
Great. All right. If we're ready, let's do it.
Let's roll it.
All right.
Well, it wouldn't take nothing for a journey now.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, the deadly cancer, call now.
He's up in everything that's got a name on.
An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust money has been set aside for victims and their families.
Wouldn't take nothing for a journey now.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be able to receive money without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit.
Wouldn't take nothing for a journey now.
Call us today for a free legal consultation. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
Grandma, how you doing?
Well, could be better.
So it's been a while since we last talked. And it's funny, Zack and I actually started working together. We kind of bonded over not understanding your disease.
That cancer you had?
Yeah, it was metal.
Was it mesothelioma?
Can't pronounce it.
I understand. It's a pretty hard word to pronounce. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's it, yes.
We actually started thinking a lot about mesothelioma, and we came up with this idea to ride our bikes across the country, to meet a bunch of people, to talk to them about it, and in a way, understand your life more. I wish I could have told you this story.
I'm gonna start off. We had something else planned, but David, we're all a family, as you can tell. We had something else planned to talk about the film, but Matt Mueller, just shared that Mike died about an hour ago. So to talk about the film, although we'd love to, Conor and Zack, I think this is an opportunity. This is no way for anyone to hear about someone passing away. I will ask that you please, 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 out of respect to Mike and Jess, do not post anything on Facebook. I am begging you, please. Dave gave me permission to share this with all of you. I'm asking you to promise that you're not going to share this. This is very personal, as you all know. So instead of talking about tires and people, I think it's an opportunity for us to collectively come together and focus on the lives and Mike and Jess. And I don't know if, I believe Dave is holding a picture. Dave, I don't know if I can make it bigger, but Dave is in the top. He's holding a beautiful picture of Mike.
I can't speak, Linda, I'm sorry.
It's okay. He's holding a beautiful picture. You can see it with Mike and Jess and Riley Jean. So we as a family have watched Mike and Jess get pregnant, have a baby, share in their joy, and then fight for his life. So I'd like to have a moment of silence. And then if anybody would like to share a loving memory for Dave and his wife, Diana, to hear. But I'm going to ask that you please, as wonderful as social media is, give the family the courtesy to please share this. Mike just passed away literally about an hour ago, and David posted it in the chat box. So strangely enough, I wanted Mike to see this film before he passed away. I knew it was getting close. I wanted his family to see this film when he was alive. And I think it's really important to know how strong their faith is. So they're a very Christian family. So Dave has said he is not going to speak. So I'm just going to ask the filmmakers and then possibly Amy and Ellen to share a memory, if you can, about Mike, the funny things, the powerful things. I want you guys to know that Mike helped ADAO so much, and we were a family. And when we went to Congress to share stories and work on briefings, and I'd say, hey, Mike, do you want to come in and share your story? You'd always say, Linda, whatever you need. And Mike would have a conversation with lawmakers, and people they would listen to Mike very differently than other warriors, because Mike could speak as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a victim. And he would tell staffers, this could happen to you. And I know Mike's work in DC and with ADAO, Dave and Diana, has moved mountains. So there's nothing I can say that will comfort your broken heart right now. But I will tell you that he has left a legacy and etched his being across all of our hearts. So if you would like to say, Ellen, Conor, and Zack, and Amy, it's just something very brief. We are going to close this chat at 2:30, and I'm sorry that it's going to be a little bit different, and there will be a blog, and there will be all kinds of other ways that we can talk about the film. So Zack and Conor, I know you guys are drying your eyes too. So I will ask if you'd like to say a message to Diana and Mike, who are in the top corner holding a picture of Jess and Mike and Riley Jean. Please do. I will publish a blog as soon as I can read. And I want you to know that we are going to start a college fund for Riley Jean. So people always ask, what can I do? And we think that to honor Mike's memory, if it's okay with Jess, we have to clear it with her, that we start a college fund. So that being said, Conor and Zack, would you like to say something to Dave and Diana about their wonderful son and daughter-in-law and granddaughter?
Thanks, Linda. This is not something I thought I would be doing today, as did anyone. We have nothing but great memories, and I think for the first time when we first met them, I am a father, somewhat newer father. I have a toddler, and I got to see what a dad and a daughter were like, and that was really special for me now in retrospect. That's something I took away with me, and I know that Riley, I saw how much fun they had together, and I know that she'll always have that, and that is really special for me, that we got to be there and interview them. So I we'll continue praying for you guys. And I have been praying for Mike and Jess and Riley. And I love you all. I love you, Linda and Ellen and Jill and all my friends here. So thank you.
Thank you, Conor. And I want you guys to know, as sad as you are, I want you to keep Mike's very powerful voice alive by continuing his work and loving his family. Zack, what would you like to share about filming that wonderful family in Maryland?
Well,
There's
first,
one in the fridge.
Does she not have one already?
I'm crushed over here. I couldn't. It was hard to watch. After hearing the news and seeing that, I had to step away and call some people. And but Mike, he was different than anybody else we've interviewed, and I think that came across the screen, and I think that's why everybody that we've ever shown this to, they connected with Mike and Jess so well, is that they're different. They're from a little different place, because he was an NED for so many years, and he was and that's one of the reasons I couldn't watch it, is because he's happy and healthy and optimistic at that point in time, and he had just the brightest future. And I'm pissed off. There's a lot of things, but he knew it. We knew it. This is what happens, and you're filled with hope, and you see their smiling faces on the screen, and you think nothing can bring them down. Look at them. Like, look where they've gotten. They've gotten through this. This is they're good, and just like that, it's. The ending came that we all know, and it just sucks. I think there's something here. I think there's a reason why we're all together here. The timing is the weirdest thing that I've ever. I don't get it. Any of this, but yeah, guys, I want you to express. I want to express just how much he meant to me, and how much his story has made a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Thank you, Zack.
A lot of people's lives.
Linda, this is Diana, and I changed my mind. I would like to just say something.
But first, I'm so very sorry to put you on the spot and have you speak.
It's okay. It's okay. It was rough about an hour ago, and it'll be rough again, but it's okay at the moment. And I just want to say, Zack and Conor, your film is beautiful, well presented, and it actually did my heart good to see that part with Mike after we had heard the news. After having seen him, probably a week and a half ago, we were there for 10 days with him when we knew that his time was running very short despite this virus. We went and spent 10 days there, and I was able to spend several days cooking him the foods that he asked me to cook for him, and he was able to eat most of the things that he asked me to make for him one last time, and that was special. I'll never forget that. And I know ADAO meant a lot to him. And the times he spoke in front of Congress were very personal to him, and showed a side of Mike that we always knew is there, the fighter side of him, and the fact that he wanted to make this world a better place for Riley and for all other children that are in the world growing up. And I hope we can just get that message across and people understand that. And thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Diana, it happened just 60 minutes ago-ish, but I want you to know we have some beautiful videos and photographs, and we'll shower your family when the time is right with some beautiful memory, because your son did make a difference. He made a difference in our personal lives, but also in our other world. world. And Ellen, up top as a board member, she knew Mike and Jess. We rubbed Jess's belly when she was first pregnant. Then when Riley came to our conference, we had to bid for chances to hold her. And you're both Mike and Jess were part of our family. Ellen, do you want to say something?
I remember fighting you for her.
I know, I remember that.
Yeah, we all did that. I just want to say that Mike was such an incredible individual. His spirit was so strong. And my memories of him on the Hill giving his testimony, he was so powerful, and everyone in the room just could identify with his message. And I just want to say it's been an honor knowing your son and the contributions that he's been a part of with ADAO. And God's peace be with you during this time. We all loved him very much.
Thank
David, Diane, this is Amy, the nurse from Simmons. And at the last Miles for Measles race that Jesse and Riley and Mike attended, we all know he ended up in the ER.
Yes, I remember.
Not doing well after he completed the race, which was amazing, not having a lung and not having his full diaphragm reconstructed. That was an amazing feat to see someone do that. And we got to sit with Riley and Jesse in the waiting room while the doctors took care of Mike. And we got to go back and talk to Mike a couple times. And his main focus and his main concern was Riley and Jesse. And he didn't care that he was in the ER in a foreign state. He just cared that Riley was having a great time. And we assured him that she was out in the ER running around, and she went through a whole box of Kleenex and threw one by one into the trash can. And I had to go get another box, and Riley took one by one and threw it in the trash can. And we just had a good time. So my job and my focus for 20 years has been talking with folks about their disease and their treatment and death and dying. And some days I don't know if I can do it another 20. But I promise you this, I am going to continue the fight in his honor and in his name. And I'm like, Zach, I'm pissed. But he's going to live on in Riley. That's for sure. So God bless you and your entire family.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda, one thing that I would like to offer in my son's memory, I'll be more than happy to take his place testifying in front of Congress.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I can bring a different perspective, and I know how to get people's attention, because in the Matt Mueller tradition, I know how to get loud and make my point.
Well, Dave, it would be an honor. So when you're ready, we will fight on. And we have a lot of members of Congress and actually one trade association that would like to hold the ban bill. And I asked one person recently, can we really tell Matt Mueller that the delay for holding our ban is appropriate? I said, what? I can't tell him that. So I'm going to put pressure on Congress. Mike he was at our August briefing, and he was so strong and so powerful. So you guys have all captured the essence for Diana and for Dave. So I'm going to finish a blog. Ellen's read it. So I'm going to finish that and send it out. And if it's okay, we do want to raise some money for Riley's.
Thank you ever so much, everybody, for your support for Mike. And we can feel the love and we can hear the prayers.
So please message me, Mike and Diana, what you'd like to be public, what you'd like to be personal, but just know that you're in our thoughts and prayers, and we're sending lots of love. So it's not really the sign off we had planned, but you know what, I think like Zach said, Mike brought us together for a reason.
We firmly believe that.
Yep.
We firmly believe that he knew this was going on right now and couldn't think of a better time to pass on. Those are my thoughts.
actually, I'm kind of grateful for this time with you for a cause that Mike believes so strongly in. So it helped.
We're all part of the same family. So lean on us. Lean on us.
And vice versa.
Well, you know that I'm pretty fiery and pissed off like the rest of you, so we will come back together. Let us know what we can do for Jess and Riley and for your family.
Very fun.
Thank you.
All right. We will sign off now. God bless all.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Conor and Zach. Talk to you later.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.